Hi everyone, thanks for attending our webinar, Advocacy Through Visual Commerce, A Breath of Fresh Air. Just to introduce myself briefly, I'm Giovanna Zanelato. I was born and raised in Brazil, and I have been a marketing associate here at Social Annex for about 8 months now. My spirit animal is a dolphin. I just love how they're highly intelligent and closely in tune with their instincts. And I like how they're peaceful and gentle, but have also a playful nature, which is a reminder that everyone needs to approach life with humor and joy.
Hi everyone, I'm Eliza Fisher. I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'm also a marketing associate here at Social Annex. I'm from Los Angeles, where we're based. And my spirit animal is an octopus because they're intelligent and quirky with a deep inner life. And I also relate to their tendency to obfuscate things.
Before we get started, I have a few quick notes on logistics. You should expect an email in your inbox tomorrow with a link to the recording of today's webinar. If you experience technical problems, please notify us through the chat window. And we invite you to ask questions anytime by clicking the chat button and typing your question. We will collect this and address them during our Q&A period at the end of today's session. So today we'll tell you a little bit about Social Annex and then talk about the customer experience that visual commerce should create and how we can create it. At the end, we'll answer a few questions. Now I'll hand it off to Eliza.
So we're going to start with a little bit of background about our company. I'm guessing that you're at least a little familiar with Social Annex since you're watching this webinar, but for the uninitiated, we make omni-channel customer loyalty and advocate marketing solutions. Our mission, simply stated, is to turn browsers into buyers, buyers into loyal customers, and loyal customers into advocates who then deliver more shoppers to you. We're headquartered in Los Angeles and have offices in the UK and India, and we're growing a lot. Just in March, we're adding over 20 people to our team, and our applications generate over 2 billion clicks a month. So our 6 suites of products are customer loyalty, login services, sharing and referrals, user-generated content, visual commerce, and contests. And those 6 suites of products provide solutions for every step of the customer journey, whether you're looking to increase site traffic, convert more shoppers, retain them, and so on. And so with that said, now I want to talk about pictures. So what sorts of experiences do images create? Here we have the text definition of a plate. A flat dish, typically circular, made of china, from which food is eaten or served. Okay, understandable, but perhaps a little dull. And here we have visuals. So they make a huge difference, right? And I'd argue that these colorful images of plates have an effect that's authentic, immediate, and rewarding. I'd say that perhaps if product images at their best fit these 3 characteristics, that we should also strive to make the overall visual commerce experience more authentic, immediate, and rewarding. So authenticity is a hugely overused buzzword, but it's apt here. When I say an image creates an air of authenticity, I mean it conveys trust and social proof. The viewer feels that he or she is being treated with respect and honesty and that they're looking at something real. When I talk about immediacy, I mean a few different things. So the human brain processes visual information about 60,000 times faster than it does text. But if our perception of images is immediate, shouldn't our interaction with them be immediate too? And then rewarding is maybe the most straightforward term out of the 3. So depending on the colors and arrangement in an image, our brains feel calmed or pleased or engaged looking at it. If the image is on one of your websites, this is probably true. I don't know about you, but I felt a sense of happiness when looking at all those pretty bright colors in those photos of the plates. It's rewarding to look at a nice image, and so we should make it rewarding to contribute a quality image too. So let's take a more in-depth look at authenticity. So we know that ads with endorsements used to have a lot more perceived authenticity than they do today. Back in the day when the Smart Water ad came out, it was, a big deal that Jennifer Aniston was actually endorsing something. But they've been usurped by the sponsored post, which even if it's not labeled as such, can be really easy to spot. And particularly, with influencers, we see a photo that in this case has 45,000 likes, one product is mentioned, it's sponsored. And so that's why we're talking about authenticity in visual commerce, and so we need to talk about real customers. Customers who, like in this example, freely declare that a certain brand has supported them in some way, that their products or services have passed a test. So here this photographer says that these Fry shoes have taken her everywhere, just casually, in conversation. And these customers are what we call advocates. Advocates are essentially volunteer marketers. They're real customers who love your business and want to talk about it, refer their friends to it, write reviews for it, and yes, take and share photos and videos of your products, services, or brand. So even without any incentives, people around the world are taking and sharing pictures and videos of the brands they love. It's their points of view and experiences that make your products authentic through social proof. So we see here tons of examples of people all around the world, whether it's clothing, fashion, food, notebooks, even ATVs and cars. Advocates are endorsing the products and brands that they like. One example that I really love is Subaru, who decided to use advocate marketing to create an emotional appeal with images of customers' dogs in their cars. So it shows how much context images from advocates can provide, because instead of thinking of a car, a safe vehicle, maybe an outdoorsy vehicle, we instead think of the precious cargo that's traveling inside. And so when we see these sorts of images on product pages, there's a huge difference. There's an extra dimension, really. So clearly this calm, cozy bedroom paints a much more appealing picture of these flameless candles than just a stock photo does. And for something like clothing, photos from your advocates give a better understanding of fit, fabric, color, and so on. But another vital side of creating an authentic consumer experience through visual commerce is that of permission. Authentic brands treat their customers with respect and only use their content with their consent. Some of you may remember this New York Times article from this past fall. It talks about the sticky situation that the shoewear company Crocs created for itself when they used a mother's photo of her child without her permission. Crocs is operating under what we call implicit permissions, which are the idea that when an Instagram user or any other social media user uses a brand's hashtag, they're implicitly agreeing to the company's reuse of the photo. It's really murky territory at best, and it gets a lot trickier when children are involved, as we'll see in a second. And when companies assume implicit permissions, they're really only allowed to reuse UGC in their visual commerce on their own websites. And if for whatever reason the original photo is taken off Instagram, since it has to live as a link on the website, it'll just appear as a broken Instagram image. So that means the teams have to be on the lookout for these broken links on a daily basis. In contrast, explicit permissions consist of outright asking a user if he or she agrees to your company reusing the photo. So the request will appear as a comment on the photo, asking for the user to comment with some iteration of #YesBrand. So here we see for Bed Bath & Beyond, they commented asking to use this awesome picture of a Darth Vader toaster, and the hashtag for agreeing is #YesBBB. And 70% of the time, users will agree to share their photos. All this can be done with one click in a visual commerce dashboard, which will also have the history of rights requests and permission documented. One more piece to add about permissions is that they essentially have to be explicit when it comes to images of children. COPPA, or the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, which hopefully your lawyers have warned you about if you sell kids products, says that businesses need to give direct notice to parents about practices regarding the collection and use of photos and videos, among other things. So the last component of authenticity that we're going to discuss today is personalization. So just like how your business uses advocates, real people, in order to get authentic photos, you should be treating your shoppers in your audience as real people too. Real people, of course, don't usually like being generically marketed to and instead want to be treated as individuals with their own preferences and tastes. So this is a pretty personal example. I love ASOS. I think they're a very cool retailer whose products and prices fit my wants, and I buy clothing from them all the time. I've been purchasing things from them for at least 6 or 7 years, and nearly all of my purchases from them are printed dresses and heeled boots. If you look at my order history and saved items, you'll see that. And I actually, coincidentally, not at all planned today, am wearing a printed dress and heeled boots from ASOS. But so with all this data that they have about me and what I like, when I look at their visual commerce gallery, I don't really see things that suit my own personal style. Now, they have a clever fix for this, in that they have different categories of styles of clothing, shoes, and accessories. So it's great that they have a method of breaking up the beautiful chaos that Instagram feeds can engender and make it more manageable. And, you know, I can go to night out looks or minimal looks or holiday looks or prom looks or whatever it is. But that said, given the amount of data that they have about my personal preferences, it'd be a more enjoyable and convenient experience for me, and I'd be more likely to buy something via visual commerce if the gallery on their homepage automatically reflected my preferences. So ModCloth also has an interesting implementation that's somewhat similar to ASOS's, in that they have totally separate galleries related to different styles and themes. There are so many ways to take the category approach to visual commerce in order to make the content more relevant to individual consumers. So Topshop's implementation is less complex than ModCloth and ASOS's, in that they just let browsers sort by product category. But it's still better than just having all of the images crammed together in one big gallery that can't be separated out. So for virtually any product, you can do trending galleries or group images by color, holiday, season, flavor. If you're in cosmetics, you can do makeup mood boards. Or if you do cookware or cookbooks, you can sort images by recipe type. Really, any way you can think of to merchandise and categorize your products, you can display them that way in visual commerce. And not enough people are taking advantage of this. But if we're going to go beyond the idea of tagged categories, we can think about applying website behavior to your displays. For certain shoppers, you might want to display sale items, and for others, you'll want to show off your high-margin products. You could also factor in search history, demographic data, including age, and users' interaction with other UGC. And if you connect your visual commerce to social login, you can access even more data to further personalize and contextualize your images. You can show photos and videos from friends and connections, or from people like me in terms of my page likes and so on. And geographic data can be really fruitful too. So one more way to ensure the relevance within any categorization of your images is to use a ranking algorithm. Social Annex's version of that is called SIRA, which is short for Smart Image Ranking Algorithm. It lets you weight different factors such as likes on social, number of followers of the poster, revenue generated, clicks, and so on, so you can optimize the display of your images. This way, whether or not you categorize them in the ways we just discussed, you'll see the best pictures float to the top. So now we're going to move on to the immediate aspect of visual commerce. Pictures communicate immediately. So if your visual commerce experience isn't essentially immediate, it's not optimized. So your team might be associating hundreds or thousands of pictures a day, and anything that makes that task more convenient is a huge relief. They should be able to do one-click association, associate the same photo to more than one product, assign it attributes and categories, and so on, all from one place. On the other side of that, the ability to associate multiple products with one photo gives your customers faster access to the products they're interested in purchasing. And when we're talking about immediacy, we can't avoid the topic of seamless omni-channel shopping. Whichever channel your customers are on, they should be able to immediately see your images and then buy through them. When your audience is on Instagram, you can monetize that channel through Shopping. For businesses, this is as simple as pasting a link in your Instagram bio. You just upload a photo to Instagram as you would normally, whether it's a catalog photo, branded photo shoot, customer picture, or anything else. And then you just have to log into your dashboard and associate your images, and that's it. They're up on a shoppable mobile gallery without any implementation on your end. So this is seamless and fast for you, and it's seamless and fast for customers who can just tap the link in your bio to get to the product details, share products and images, and most importantly, buy. So you can even cultivate immediacy in store. UGC is an easy evergreen source of content for digital displays. Here we have examples from 9 West and Lululemon, who are just two businesses using it in this way. And so you can get real-time feeds of what your customers all over the world are doing with your products and show those. One example of a creative in-store customer photo display that I always like to bring up is one that Forever 21 did last summer in their New York flagship. They set up a special thread screen, which is a screen in which the pixels were thousands of spools of thread. And users would use a special hashtag, and then they would see their images show up on this analog screen. And there was a video so that anyone around the world whose picture was displayed could see it in action. And so now we come to the rewarding component of visual commerce. We know that it's rewarding to view these high-quality photos of your advocates, but how can we reward them for contributing? Many advocates will share photos without any reward in mind, perhaps except for recognition or attention. But in order to really cultivate advocacy at scale, you really need to consider how you can thank them. So the simplest way is part of the nature of visual commerce itself. Thank your customers by showing them off. If your customers are logged in socially or through a loyalty account, you can personalize their site experience so they see themselves among the customers featured on your homepage gallery. I'm not sure if you remember my picture from the beginning of the webinar, but here I am featured along with other shoppers. And if you have a loyalty program, it can be very simple to give customers points in exchange for contributing. You can even do this if advocates are submitting their images via hashtag on Instagram or Twitter. So here's a look at just a bit of the amazing customer photos that Olympus Camera has received by incentivizing their fans to share. And even if you don't have a loyalty program, you can reward customers through contests. The skincare line Frank Body, which has seen massive success on Instagram due to their marketing around their coffee skin scrub, has gotten fantastic content by giving their products away to select advocates who share photos. They've also done more elaborate contests, like this one in which they encourage their audience to make artwork using their products, whether it's on the packaging or using the scrubs themselves. The winner of the contest got a considerable cash prize, and Frank got tons of unique, beautiful submissions to use for their own marketing efforts in all these different channels. Nasty Gal is another company that has great ideas for UGC. They ran a contest last year based around Truth or Dare, in which one of the challenges was to take a selfie with a stranger in order to win a gift card. And one more personal favorite of mine, because it's very creative, is done by a clothing site called Bona Drag. They have an annual holiday wish list contest in which they simply ask their audience to post photos on Instagram of the Bona Drag items that they want, and they use a hashtag. But these customers have gotten really creative, and some, instead of just reposting brand photos or making simple collages of stock images on a white background, have instead made these really memorable and noteworthy collages of their products. And they're reflective of Bona Drag's branding and personality, and it really showcases the diversity and creativity of their own customers. And so they're also wonderful for using in other marketing efforts. And beyond any of these rewards directly given in exchange for the contribution of photos and videos, you should also consider how you can make your customer experience more rewarding and engaging in general, with the end game of cultivating advocacy. So many of these tactics are beyond the scope of a webinar only about visual commerce, but I'm listing some ideas here just to spark some more thought. You want to practice a customer-centric culture, surprise and delight them, foster a sense of collaboration like we just saw in these contests, provide a holistic and seamless experience even beyond your visual commerce. A few more include entertaining and educating your shoppers, embracing transparency, and so on. And we talk about all these ideas and more in an ebook on our site called 21 Ways to Turn Shoppers into Advocates. And so you get more information about visual commerce best practices. We're going to send you an ebook about those along with your webinar recording. And so Social Annex and our clients have seen really amazing results with visual commerce. On average, it raises site-wide conversion by 5 to 7%. It really lifts click-through rate, and some clients see really amazing conversion rates among visual commerce users. And so now we're going to get to questions.
Thank you, Eliza. Well, we are now going to begin answering questions submitted during today's presentation. As a reminder, you can still submit questions and we'll answer them as soon as possible. As of now, it looks like we have 3 questions. So the first question is, if I implement a visual commerce solution on my website, what type of behind-the-scenes information will I have access to?
So generally with visual commerce solutions, you should always see a curation trail, as well as statistics about return on investment, submission sources, and device usage. So you can even know if your users are submitting their photos through iPhones or Android. But if your visual commerce is integrated with social login or loyalty, you'll be able to track engagement and submissions as they relate to the data that you get from those products too. So you can get a much better understanding of who exactly is contributing to your galleries because you have visual commerce linked up with their emails, purchase history, social profile in the case of social login, and so on.
So the second question is, what are all the sources I can get images from when using visual commerce? And if I get a lot of images, what's the best way to organize and keep track of them?
In terms of automatically pulling images from hashtags, you can do this via Instagram and Twitter. For basically all of our clients, Instagram is going to be the most bountiful source of images. Unfortunately, Snapchat and Facebook don't allow for this, but there are various types of manual upload. So users can upload videos and photos from their desktops, phones, or any other storage device like Dropbox, or they can upload a photo through Facebook.
And the last question is, can you explain in more detail how the curation process works?
So for curation, you can either choose to have your own team moderate and curate photos, or certain companies, Social Annex being one of them, will do this for you. Either way, once you decide on the criteria for the images you want to share, you or the team will just go through the stream of photos in your dashboard, pick the ones you want, and then just click to request rights.
Okay, so if there are no more questions, I think this is it. Thanks everyone for attending our webinar, and we hope that you have a great day.
Yeah, and just as a reminder, if you have any more questions at any time, you can reach out to us. I'm E. Fisher, Fisher, at Social Annex.
I'm GZANELLATO, G Zanelato at socialannex.com. And if you have any questions, you can contact us.
Yeah, and we will be sending you a recording shortly, along with your ebook about visual commerce best practices. And thanks so much for spending time with us today.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.